So here to solve the star battle puzzle by Ashish Kumar called Comet. We'll sort of give it that name based on these ice crystals in the center, this repeated region shape that's there 5 times. Can't use the center cell, but sort of gets a group where we're going to have stars in each of these 2x2 boxes, and they'll have to deflect themselves in some way to make the whole grid work. One thing I'm noting, in part just based off this region that's just in the rightmost 4 columns, is there's something interesting about the regions again in this puzzle. This is a pretty typical step in one of these grids, but if I look at this region, this region, this region, I've got 3 regions that are mostly in those columns, and that adds together with this last one. 4 regions, they're all on the right side of the grid. They will have 8 stars in them, and those 8 stars will not be able to be in these other spots. So if you haven't gotten used to seeing these yet, as I'm scanning the rows, there is no row-based form of this rule, and this is the one column-based form of this rule. So the entry point for this puzzle is spotting these 4 regions on the right, limit those options at the start. That actually eliminates 2 of the 3 cells for one of these placements, which will actually eliminate all the cells from this placement. Put a star down here, put a star down here. This 4th row from the bottom is actually finished, so a star goes here and here. We've got another star marked for this bottom row, so this row is finished. The star comes up, the star comes up. Got some other spots now for some tension, and looks like this region at the top, which is going to take another 2 stars, is 1 point for it. A question is like, does a star go here? If a star goes here, this will move to the left because we'll finish that column. But what I'm seeing is we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars already marked, and I just have these 4 columns to think about. So there's another coloring I can do, and there are 2 ways, I guess, to spot this. One is right now to see that in this green space it's still usable. These 4 regions, and again, these cells don't really matter, but I'll just color them in. These 4 regions in green are responsible for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th columns for where the 8 stars go, and so there's nothing in these. A different way to see that, which was available at the start of the puzzle, is actually that in this first 2 columns, there is a region that takes almost all of those cells. And this can't possibly fill in 4 stars for this space. It only gets 2 stars in this red space. And so there have to be 2 more stars in yellow in this space. And actually one is always known for sure, and the other is down here at the start. But another break into this puzzle looks like it's actually recognizing this star is used, a star goes down here. The remaining stars are in red and not in these cells and not in these cells. They're left in uncolored space. So we get that clearance actually here giving a star over there. 1 here, 1 there to finish this row. So a great start from doing that work. Given the state in the puzzle now, we're, I guess, going bottom to top. So this 6th row looks like a good place to look. I can get 1 star over here in blue. I can get as only 1 star in red, a maximum of 1. So 1 plus 1 works out to get a total of 2. And that means all these cells are not used in this region. I now have some tension where I've got to get 1 of these stars down below into this row, but not both of these. And so here's a spot where I think the kinds of observations are trickier, but you can get a little bit used to what are forcing functions that will get counts to break. And so one forcing function like around this sort of L shape is a cell like right here. So here's how I'm going to visualize a key cell to look at. And this is not the key cell to look at, but I'm aware of this cell because if I put a star here, I'm forced to put a star there. And so the cell to look at is actually where this chains in. It's this cell. If this is a star, it's going to put a star over to the right, which itself is going to put another star over to the right. And notice that's putting 3 in a row. And we can't have 3 in a row. So this is not able to be a star. Star goes here. There's now a trickier form of that same deduction, and I think this is the critical one here, which is this star. And again, it's tied to the fact it's near a chaining spot. So putting a star here always moves a star down. And what I want to think about in this puzzle is not getting 2 of these stars to both move down. Notice that a star placed in this cell is going to move this clue down, and it's going to, by chaining into this star, move this clue down, and again get 3 stars in that row. And so there are spaces in a puzzle where you'll have to think about the consequences of placements, but these either or notes make it pretty easy to chain that logic. And if you see that this cell is not usable, you're going to be able to get two key placements, a star here and a star here in this top two cells. We now actually get a magic count of stars, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this space, so we don't need this star. If this star went to the left, we'd actually have 5 in these columns, so this goes to the right. It cancels this cell, moves this up. The top row is now finished. So in this region over on the right in blue, got a star here, a star here. Both of these star spots are unusable, so a star moves there. Star moves into this cell. That moves this over to the left, moves this to the right. This star and this star actually clear this column, so this comes up, this comes up. This column and this column are finished, so this star goes in here. This moves up. This has to come down. This moves left, and that's going to move this right. To finish this out, we need one star in this spot, but it's not in this row that's already complete. We need to get one more star placed here, but this cancels over there, and that moves this to the left. So set of curious deductions, but they work together to make a really challenging puzzle. So thanks Ashish for writing this. Hopefully you got a sense either for what's in blue or actually also what's in yellow and red of two of the key region-based constraints that drive the solve for this puzzle. By the time we got to the mid stages, it was looking at all the chaining logic around the center, particularly how to avoid getting 3 stars in this 5th row. They identified a key cell here that we could eliminate and then drive the resolution of the star having to be in the 3rd or 4th column up here to get the rest to happen. So bit of a workout, but we got through another star battle this week. Hopefully you learned some steps through this video, and we'll see you again soon.